Hey, hi, hello. Good evening. Congrats on making it to the middle of the week. Hope you're proud of yourself, as I am of you and me. Yeah, it's been a pretty average week so far. Pretty calm, at least for me. Work's been going at its usual pace. We're kind of like in a in-between period. Good evening! Look at you voguing it up. Haha, yeah, good evening to you, Molecular Shadow Fox, and yeah. Figured with like a new month on the horizon, just dress up a little bit, because Lunar New Year is kind of around the corner, so just prep myself for that occasion, right? But yeah, I have been doing a little bit, like, been talks with some of my family members about, like, come down to visit them, like, you know, just because I guess it's kind of what you do, and it's been a while. Just finished your shift at the cafe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess like the collar kind of makes it look like a waiter style outfit, right? Looks good, thanks. Yeah. Well, in any case, we are here tonight, as we are every Wednesday, to look at a racing game, and we are going to return to Grid 2019 here. Last week we finished off the stock series that ate up a large chunk of time. So let's get in here. We're gonna start tuners. As usual, we just gotta wait for it to log in. Boom, hey, wow, that actually wasn't that long. And here we are, gonna start with a JDM Rush. We did go through a little bit of this last week, and there were like a couple of time attacks. So I'm hoping this one we'll cover more ground this week than we did last week. That NASCAR pickup that handled like a dead dog. Yeah. Oh man. Fortunately, the only truck we could pick within the category, because that's all they offered us. I like how this one has more power, but, well, I guess weight might be a disadvantage, so I think I'm just gonna go with brand. So Honda. I like Hondas. Yep. And we're jumping in. Just right into it. 2 rounds. This is a 4-lap race. It's gonna be a short one too, because this is like not even a mile long. Oh man. S2000, good choice, great cars, very tunable. Yeah, I know some friends who drove Honda cars, and they never complained about them. I think that goes for like most cars. Unless they were old, there wasn't anything bad they had to say about it. Just, you know, the usual, hey, I gotta make payments, and oh, I gotta go into the garage for the usual checkup, or I gotta go clean off my car this weekend because it got dirty enough that I can't really ignore it anymore.
We are in San Francisco for the Grid World Series. Kristen, what are your thoughts?
Alright, as usual, we will qualify in the rain. Oh man, it's that daytime rain too, where it's sunny out, yet you see the water coming down. I had an S2000 a few years ago, very reliable, basically bulletproof. Oh man, that's pretty neat. Oh man, didn't think the cars were that durable, but I guess they are. So how's everyone doing this Wednesday? How are you doing? I think as far as like, you know, middle of the weeks, end of the months go, it's been pretty decent, right? I know I say this a lot, but nothing major has happened either way. It's been a pretty average week, so I consider that a win. Better an average week than a very bad, no good week, right? Oh wow, I still made it first. Huh, okay. Cool. Yeah, it's one of those times when you get blinded by the sun shining on the road. Getting used to the cast. Had the metal frame dealie taken off yesterday. Ooh, huh, progress. I like to hear it. But yeah, casts are no fun. Like, sucks in multiple ways, because, you can't, your limb's broken, so it hurts, and then it's gonna get, like, cramped and stiff because you can't move it. And then, once you take that thing off, it's gonna stank. It's gonna stink to high heaven, because, you've been sweating through it and everything, and it's gonna spend a good long while cleaning off that particular limb. Fortunately, it's just like a necessity, right? You gotta do it if you want yourself a good, functional arm. Or, arm, leg, whatever limb is broken. You just can't avoid it. Take the case off and it looks like a grizzly bear's arm. Oh, there's that too. Yeah. Gonna need to do a little shaving. Oh man, I can just imagine the plaster probably sticks to the hair. Some of the hairs get stuck to the plaster too. So when you peel it off, it's probably gonna hurt that way as well. Manscaping and all that, yeah, exactly. Heard announcer guy say lap 2. Thank you, Radio Man. Get on the phone, Rochelle, I need the full works this week. I've never really gone for, like, a waxing of any sort. I don't know, I guess I just, like, after seeing it from the shows where they have those scenes where someone gets waxed and, someone pulls the wax strip off and the person just, like, starts screaming, like, ah, man, I don't know if I can handle that. Maybe it's ain't for me. Has anyone tried waxing? Half the pain is in the anticipation. I would definitely agree with that. It's similar to like getting a shot, It's like if you're the type who kind of gets squeamish with needles, knowing that you're gonna need to have a needle kind of, it's just, whew, yeah. Yep, I get waxed often. Ah, whew, nice. I guess it's like one of those things where if you do it enough times, you'll get used to it, but it's just, getting over that hurdle, right? It's just getting over that initial hurdle. If you get the razor on there, it grows back twice as fast. Oh, is that so? I see. That and I enjoy my mani-pedis. Ah, yeah. You can get yourself, like, the full spa treatment while you're there. I get it. It's nice. It sounds like a great day, right? Just sit there and relax while, other people beautify you up. I get that. I get that appeal. I guess the thing with that is that at those kinds of, days, packages tend to be pretty expensive. And it's like, man, I could plunk down a lot of money for, the spa day, but there's other things I could get with it too. Like clothes or games or other forms of entertainment. I guess it's what you want to prioritize, right? Just it's your money, right? And just you use it on whatever you enjoy most. Some you time to relax. Get a nice drink or magazine to read while you're getting worked on. That sounds like a good day right there. It's kind of like multitasking in a way. If you're interested, you get the gold membership. Extra perks. Got like those tiered membership types. You can get the basic, or you can get the plus program, which gets you more stuff. We're going to Shanghai, baby! Where's my teammate in all this? Well, it's kind of funny. This game gives you like a whole list of teammates you can pick from. Doesn't feel like it makes too much of a difference. There's like a bunch of different names, and they have stats and cost different amounts of credits to kind of, you know, keep in your team, but other than that, it's like, you know, this is there, right? It's there, like, much like most of the stuff here is. I need it. Driving trucks makes your hands feel like sandpaper. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Imagine, you know, sitting in a truck for long periods of time. You probably want to loosen up your body, and what better way to do it than to, you know, hit up the spa for a day and get yourself the works. Anyways, let's go qualify. Let's qualify. Maybe if I like go on a vacation and I find myself in a position where I could probably get myself an easy spa day for relatively cheap, I might try it out. See what it's like. Might be one of those things that might be nice to have once in a while. Although the thing with it always is, maybe it becomes so good that I might want to do it again and again. You know, just keep going back. Have my regular hair appointment too, because it's too much upkeep for me to do at home. Go for the whole works, eh? Mud bath and all that, facials, etc. Mud bath sounds very pleasing, I gotta admit. It seems like something I wouldn't mind trying out once. Facial might be pretty nice too, actually. I'm sure the smell is probably, like, pleasant, too. Buzzword for those places, rejuvenated, yeah, re-energized, you know, karma, feng shui, things like that. You will feel like a totally new person, a whole new you. I know at the posher places, they have whale songs playing and all that. Sounds of the sea, you know, there's something about it. Just, super duper relaxes people. Right, you got the obvious beachside ambient sounds of waves crashing, or just like seagulls, or just like, heck, just water in general. Right, as long as it's not, a torrent of it. It's nice. It's nice. I'd be happy with sounds of rain on the window. Yeah, as would I. Something strangely soothing about that, I'll have to give you. My nephew is especially all about that types of white noise. He usually goes to sleep a lot more easily if you know, some sort of noises in the background. Doesn't necessarily have to be like rain or waves or anything like that. It could be just like really light wind, or heck, even like a fan blowing or something. That's usually something. I get that feel, right? If you have like absolutely nothing, right, you already have your eyes closed, so you're not seeing anything, so you know, if you're not hearing anything either, it's like, man, that can kind of psych you out sometimes. So having a little bit of noise in the background does help you at least put your mind to something, so you're not just like lying there idly with your thoughts the whole time. So I get it. All snuggled up inside, and it's battering with rain outside. Yeah. Same here. I usually fall asleep with the TV on. I can't do with total silence. It's true what they say. Silence is deafening. Yeah, it is. I agree with that. Admittedly, I'm like personally fine if it's like super duper quiet, but I can go to sleep with light noise as well. The slightest noise is amplified. Indeed, that's true. Sometimes you get worried about it too, right? If it's just like a certain sound that would rightfully freak you out, like you hear just like a crash in the night, or like some really loud snap or something like that, you're just like, uh-oh. Definitely would worry a person. Ah, look at that confetti! Boom! Another first place finish. For such an occasion, I keep a golf club under the bed. Peace of mind. I always feel like those kinds of things might be risky. I guess it depends. If you're the type of person who kind of sleeps alone, then maybe it's not so bad, because you already know you don't have to worry about, you know, accidentally hitting someone friendly, because most of the time, if someone is in your place in the middle of the night, they're probably not friendly. So I get that feel. That was pretty quick. Then again, it's also the first tuner event, so we'll see how much more lengthy they get as we go. Can continue using the Honda. Modfest! And it's a different kind of Modfest this time. It's car mods. Or God help you if you fall asleep with friends in the room and wake up covered in marker pen. Ah, yes, the good old drawing on people's faces prank. Had that a few times. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. I guess I got lucky because, yeah, that never happened to me. Do you have like any other sorts of pranks happen? One I hear a lot is like putting the person's hand in warm water so they'll you know, wet themselves as they sleep, which seems a bit too mean. Like, seriously. Very least, if you draw on someone's face, it can just like wash it off, provided you don't like, use like permanent marker or something like that. Woke up one time with adult toys duct taped to my hands, a purple one and a rampant rabbit in the other. Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I would. that's like a bit more extreme than I might be comfortable with. But I guess if they just duct taped it to your hands, It could have gone much worse. Hopefully, it didn't take like any pictures or anything. That would be next level mean, really. Never fall asleep around my friends. Something always happens. Oh man. See, that would. Oof. Well, I mean, as long as you're cool with it, that's what matters, right? If you start becoming not cool with it and they keep it up, that's where it becomes an issue. It actually reminds me of this thing that someone on a podcast mentioned a long time ago. It's like a drinking game called Edward 40 Hands, where you would duct tape like beer bottles to your hands, and then you would have to walk around with them, and then you drink them, and that's kind of like the extent of it. I don't know. Seems like someone really saw Edward Scissorhands and wanted to convert it to like a drinking game, and that's what they did. An excuse to drink. But then again, what isn't? That was a little rough. Wasn't done to me, but after a night out, they put a load of hair cream remover cream down his pants, so he was bald downstairs after he woke up. Oh my god. Yeah, that's that's what I would consider extreme. Sheesh. I don't know, I guess I just like a lot more sensitive to like hair-related things. So if I read some story about someone's hair getting messed up one way or another, I'm like, oh, geez.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
It does really feel like, kind of like you're really getting into someone's personal space right there. Especially when you consider sometimes hair might take a while to grow, and the wild style as well. Not to mention money sometimes as well, so, someone messes it up and, results can be catastrophic. To say nothing of the pants, too. Just all messed up and stuff, like, Hopefully they had a spare for the guy, at least. Let him go home with some measure of dignity. Yeah, wake up with some anime-type hair after a load of gel. See, I don't even need gel. My hair, when I wake up, usually, like, goes into funny shapes. I'll have to comb it down. You'll see, like, part of it just, like, stick up. Like, some anime-style thing. Thankfully, it just, like, takes a little bit of water to just pat it down, and I'm good to go. Bed hair! Yeah, exactly. It is a little amusing when sometimes you don't even have time for that. You just gotta head to wherever you need to go with your current hairstyle. You're just trying to straighten it down along the way, just like, oh man, just gotta get everything together before I start my day. Gotta admit, I've never done like the anime thing where I'm so late I gotta eat on the go too, right? Just like have the toast in my mouth as I'm rushing out the door. Was lucky back then. Was natural curly froze, so not too many hair days. Ah, nice. It is nice like that when you don't have to worry about some aspect, right? You might have to do some other things, but at least your hair is good to go. These days, it's a shed load of products to keep it straight and long. Yeah. You know, especially if you want to, like, keep your hair in good condition. Oh, nuts. I forgot to do the qualifying lap. Oh, they started me in 10th? Well, it should be fine. I should be able to fight my way to the front from here. Yeah.
Listen up, let's rein it in. We'll push them over the edge here.
Be a cold day in hell before I do a bun ponytail at most if it's hot. Hey, you do what you gotta do, right? Whatever hairstyle you prefer the most. Yeah, I knew some people who had a long hairstyle. Certainly talked a few times about how early they would have to get up in order to, you know, clean their hair, make sure it's all ready for the day. And yeah, on hot days, you would see them kind of sport a ponytail or a bun, you know, because having all that hair covering your back would make it super duper sweaty. It was like either that or they kind of tied their hair into a braid. I knew a friend who was able to do the whole braids thing, and it was pretty cool. Oh. So it's like everyone's preferred kind of hairstyle. Like, what do you like to rock? I know. Gotta admit, I used to like the long styles back in the day, but I feel like these days I'm kind of like more into like the shorter hairstyles. You know, it's why my model has short hair. Well, shorter hair, right? It's not like super duper short, but you know, it's not like going down the back or anything like that. I think the only part of hair I want to be long is like the sort of the side lock style hairstyle, right? The bits of hair in front of the ears. I don't know what it is about that, but something about that kind of hairstyle just like really appeals to me. I think it might be the contrast, right? Because normally you'd have like long hair in the back, short hair in the front, but this hairstyle, it's like long hair in the front, short in the back. Kind of splits the difference between yeah. I'm a sucker for long hair. It's like, you got long hair, swoon. I get it, right? Because I don't know, something about that. It's like cool, right? It's flowy. It looks nice. I guess when it comes to long hair, I used to kind of enjoy like the straight kind of long hairstyle, but I've kind of grown to appeal like a more kind of like wavy style, right? Not just completely straight. Although that looks great, mind you, but I like it when it like kind of comes down in waves. Something about that I like. Oh my God, is that another event done? Holy cow! I have a habit of twirling mine around my finger while I'm watching TV. Oh man, I like running a hair through my hair. A hand. I like running a hand through my hair. It's just straighten it out, maybe just like untangle it passively. Although, you know, I try to take care to not be too rough with it. Oh yeah, here we go. Time attacks. This is a one-rounder. We'll see how this goes. What sorts of idle habits does, like, everyone have? People have told me, like, a lot of times I'm super fidgety. Like, if I'm sitting somewhere, I'll usually subconsciously just have, like, a one leg just kind of, like, you know, bumping up and down. And sometimes it's enough where someone else will notice it and go, hey, kind of just, like, dial it back or knock it off or something like that.
We're in Zhejiang for today's event. The pack need to hunt down the lead in this sure-to-be thrilling race in the Grid World Series. Kristen, tell me about this track.
Well, there's multiple corners.
Alright, he's run wide of track boundaries. That's good.
Hair twirling, my legs are always going, because I can't keep them still. I get that feel. Yeah, I'm also like a very fidgety person. Something just needs to be moving for me. I don't know. Like, I could stay still for a little bit, but eventually I become a little too antsy, and I just gotta move. Just gotta schmoove, man. So what is the point of time attack anyway? I would assume this was like a one-lap deal, but it looks like they're making me do 3 laps. The only difference is that, you know, they stagger our starts, so I have to assume they're kind of doing it like a official regulation time attack where they stagger everyone's starts so that they don't have to worry about the opponents on the track and can just focus more on the racing. But other than that, it's like not too different from a regular race. Why am I 8th? Oh, now I'm 9th. I wonder if the position is changing just because everyone's getting their lap times in. It's like once I cross the line and get my lap time, then my position will change. Yeah, it really is. It's just a multiplayer time attack without any sorts of ghosting function, which is... man... So you get 3 laps to kind of get your best time in. I tap my heel on the ground too, like I'm playing a bass drum. I do that a lot when I want my car to go faster in a game. Oh yeah, it's just an instinct, right? You just like instinctively do the motion to kind of like smack the accelerator pedal. I notice I do that too when I'm like a passenger in a car and I'm driving. I'll instinctively like move my feet when I feel like I need to brake or hit the accelerator. I also do like the tapping feet thing sometimes, although that's mostly because of my days of playing an instrument in grade school, where, you know, you had to tap your feet to keep the beat. Or at least try to. I don't know, I feel like after a point, my foot would just like go completely out of sync, and I would just be playing by ear, like I always do. If I'm on controller, I lean with the turns. I kind of do that too. Or when I'm like playing an FPS and I got a peak, I'll notice that I kind of lean in the same direction as I'm peaking. It's just it's a muscle memory, right? Just your body kind of instinctively does it. It's hard not to, yeah. Because you're just like super in the zone. What other sorts of like habits are there out there that people can do sometimes? I guess one of the more common ones is like me instinctively saying "ow" whenever I get hit or hit something. You know, that's like I'm playing like Mega Man, and my character gets hit by a bullet, and I'll just instinctively say "ow." You know, I'm racing, I hit someone else, I'm like "ow" or "whoa" or something like that. I might kind of blow myself back from the impact as well a little bit. My BF does that when he's gaming. Yeah, sometimes it's hard not to do so, especially if like the hit's a pretty big one, right? If they get like knocked backwards or they look like they're super reeling from the hit, it's kind of hard to not go "ow." Almost like sympathy pain in a way. Another one down. There it was, our introduction to time attack events. Surprisingly, not that much different from race events. Scoring is a little different, format is a little different, but other than that, you're still driving around the track. Level 24. Ooh, we're about to hit 25. I'm sure there's a big milestone for that. If I'm leading a race like in a trial or anything, my heart goes through the roof as I'm trying to do it perfect and not mess up. Ah, yeah. I get that feel, right? Just like nervousness as victory is within your grasp. Happens to me a lot too. Like when I'm fighting a boss and I reach the final phase and I'm like, oh man, gotta keep my wits about me. Because they could still do me in a heartbeat if they wanted to. So what's next? Unlimited power! And they even have lightning on the side. Just sponsored by Emperor Palpatine, right? Just sponsored by the Empire. Oh, I have a Grid Edition car. Yeah, look at that. Big sigh of relief when it's over. Yep. You're just like, yes, I did it, or oh my god, finally. One way or another. Just like, ah, yes, I can walk away from this now. This is like the most recent time that's happened. You're just like in a nail-biting situation. I'm guessing it's probably like the trial. I think for me it might actually have been
A pleasure as always to be in your company. And if you didn't know Kristen, everybody, she is a two-time race controller about to get this underway.
Oh. Another time attack. And it just gave us the big rolling start here. That and I wore my thumbs down to Nubs trying to defeat Ignis for the first time in KOF 2002. Ooh. I get that feel. Defeating that fighting game final boss. Yeah, I think my most recent nail biter was probably something similar. I was, definition of unfair boss, I bet. As is the case with, like, most fighting game bosses. I was actually playing Tekken 8 because I picked that up this week. And I went through an arcade run just for kicks, and yeah, the final boss there... It's kind of funny, right? Even on the easiest difficulty, they'll give you the first round, but after that, they just, like, you know, unlock their limiters and take you to school. Just, like, completely wallop you. There were certainly a couple of rounds where I felt like I was on the verge of greatness, but then suddenly, you know, they pull off this big old combo, and I just find myself lying on the ground, eating dirt. Yeah, I was also playing Remnant 2. There's like a particular boss there called like I forget what it's called, but the boss like consists of a bunch of cubes, and the fight consists of you having to like run your way around this type of labyrinth while the cubes are kind of seeking you down, trying to crush you. You gotta like shoot different lit sides of it to decrease its health. It was actually a pretty cool concept, but the fact they could like instantly take you out by rolling over you kind of took a little bit out of it, because you know you had to step very carefully, because like even one misstep could end your run and cause you to have to start all the way back over. Always that last sliver of health that seems to take forever to wear down. Yeah, the magic pixel. I mean, it certainly helps for creating tense situations. Never a dull moment when someone's health is like that on that last pixel there. You're just, oh man, can they pull it off? Can they come back from behind, take the round? I blame Capcom and SNK for that. Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones who do that kind of stuff on purpose. Like, I remember, like, someone actually mentioned, like, yeah, Street Fighter 4 actually is like that, where, you know, the health display is a bit longer than what the bar might indicate, just to have those sorts of tense moments where, you know, your character's health is at that very tiny last bit, and, you know, one more hit, one more combo will do them in. Can they get in the zone and bring it all the way back? Like the fighting game equivalent of catching a ball at like the opposing 90? Is it 90? Yeah, the 90-yard line, and just like running it all the way back to the other end zone for a touchdown. Just an exciting moment like that. Or I guess when you're like making a three-pointer from across the court, something like that too. Or like playing I'm sure you can imagine a bunch of other situations like that, right? Moments where you just see it all turn around, or you see the moment where it starts turning around for them. Fun times for the people on the winning side, and always a bit of a heartbreak for anyone who is on the other side end of it. Look at that. Another V, another W, another dub. Just had to get hydrated a bit there. I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling like a little bit thirsty tonight. Not quite sure why. Did you see that they announced Sonic X Shadow Generation? Oh yeah, yeah. That was kind of dominating Twitter for a bit. I saw a bunch of people being excited for it, and it seems like they're on the right track. Like, from the tiny snippets of gameplay you see a Shadow, it's like, yeah, they're bringing in new stages. They're bringing back Black Doom. It's seems like they're gonna. It's at the very least gonna be a original thing, right? They're not just making Shadow and let you play as him through the original Sonic generations. This guy's gonna have a substantial campaign on his own, so that's pretty cool.
And I've just been told the race is seconds away from lights out.
About time to give my boy some proper love. It is nice. You know, after a long time of just having, like, Sonic playable, they are stretching it out a bit, letting the other members of the cast kind of have their go. Right, it's like Sonic Mania, of course, Knuckles, Tails, and Ray Mighty, and then Sonic Origins, and gave Amy like a bit of spotlight, and then I guess Sonic Forces gave some more love to Shadow, and then Frontiers actually Let me just restart this. I think I got off on the wrong wheel here. Yeah, and then Frontiers gave Tails, Knuckles, Amy some sections after a couple of updates. Cast is so bloated now. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of characters, but when you're talking about like 30-ish years of history, of course there's going to be a lot of characters, right? It's like how Mario has like a lot of characters, you know? I guess the difference is that a lot of characters in Sonic tend to have recurring roles one way or another. It's like a good number of them. You'll definitely see Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Shadow. You might see Rouge, you might see Big, you might see the Chaotix. On a good day, you might see Cream. But having them playable, on the other hand, you know, that's different, right? For a good long while there, it was like maybe Sonic, classic Sonic, if you're lucky. Please, Sega, get rid of Big. I hated those fishing levels. You know what? I don't think you'll find a lot of people out there who are a fan of the fishing levels. But at the very least, if he returned to being playable, it was never like in a form of being a fishing level. I don't know. I think my opinion about him has cooled over time. It's like, hey, you know what? He's fine. He's a big, lovable goof, and, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's like most of the time, he's just like supporting character, so, you know, it's fine. He's fine. He's the Sonic Universe version of Patrick Star. That's true. He even kind of sounded like it, right? It made him that really big oaf kind of sound. Big goofball. Well, that was quick. Round 2 of 2. So if Big is Patrick Star, then it would be like SpongeBob. Would it be Sonic? I don't know. I think Sonic's like a bit too competent. I guess if anyone had to be Squidward, it would probably be Shadow, right? They both kind of fill that sort of grump role. Really don't like the Boom versions. I don't think there are a lot of people who do. I remember that game kind of being a flashpoint, right? After 2006, that was the next game where everyone was just like not of the best opinion of the series. I know a lot of people were making remarks about how they should just, end it. It's almost the shame about Sonic. I don't know. Like, sure, maybe they hit a lot of rough patches, but it does feel like a lot of people just kind of drag it through the ground a whole lot. Like, even to this day, you see people still making jokes about Sonic kissing a human. I'm like, bro, that was maybe 18 years ago. Let it go. Like, goddamn. Like, could you imagine if someone, like, I don't know, kept bringing up, like, Hotel Mario in a mocking way? Like, I know, Mario's had some rough patches, but I guess people tend to bring it up affectionately, right? They're not, like, lording it over their heads or anything like that. Anyways. Oh, wow, this is 4 rounds time attack. So this is gonna be a bit in here. Lots of JDM events, so I wonder if there's, like, maybe not as many categories in the tuners or something. As advanced as the newer games are, I still have a big affinity for the 2D ones. They just captured lightning in a bottle. It certainly came out at the right moment. I guess Sonic was that, like, mascot with attitude, and, his games are all about going fast and being cool. That certainly appealed to a certain crowd. Imagine, when he came out in the 90s, there was a lot of people who would eat that up. And 2000s kind of continued along that direction, where the stories tend to be serious, interconnected, and you had characters like, Shadow and Chaos and what have you.
And I guess we will see who is out there to feel out the competition.
Sorry, race control are about to get this underway.
I mean, it's like a part of the reason why Sonic Mania came out and was received as well as it was, right? It's like that tribute to the 16-bit era of games. They added in a couple twists of their own, and, all the old stuff they put in made you think, yeah, these guys, they get it. Like, I remember people wondering why they didn't have, like, a Sonic Mania 2, and then, like, the devs actually had to come out and go, yeah, we actually want to, like, spread ourselves out a little bit. We want to diversify our portfolio, so that's why their next game they came out with wasn't a Sonic game. Because they kind of already proven themselves in that department. I guess they want to show how they can do other things as well, which I get it, right? You don't want to chain yourself to one type. You don't want to become, like, typecast in a certain way, right? You don't want to become, like, the company known as the company does the one thing really well, and only that thing really well. Although I would like a Sonic Adventure 3. I know a lot of people were clamoring for that too. It's kind of funny we only got like 2 Sonic Adventures and never a third one. I think at least like amongst the modern era, that was like the only game that actually got like a 2. Oh, I guess there were the Rush games, but I mean, the Advance games, right? There was Sonic Advance, Sonic Advance 2, Sonic Advance 3, and I guess Sonic Rush had like Rush Adventure, which is a sequel of sorts. But yeah, other than that, they were like mostly kind of individual, standalone types of titles, right? Yeah, it was like a remastered Mega Drive Sonic collection. It was a best of, with a new original plot and everything. Just felt like those guys, they got Sonic. They knew what Sonic was all about, and the entire game was kind of like a love letter to fans of that era. Some really fun mods for Mania. I gotta admit, I have not checked out the mod scene for Mania, although I'm not surprised one exists for it. Even my mom played the hell out of Adventure 2. Heh. I mean, there's a lot of reason to kind of go back to it, right? Not just for getting all the emblems and completing the missions and the versus mode. There was also the whole Chow raising aspect. Still remains an eternal mystery. I remember people saying it long ago, and people still say it today. Why isn't the Chow Garden been spun off into its own game? I mean, they sort of had something like that with the advanced games. You could have that Chow Garden as like a virtual pet, but yeah, I think Chow Garden would probably work pretty well as like a standalone title, especially these days in the days of downloadable games. I feel like you could really do, kind of like a cheaper Chow raising game. I imagine a lot of people would love that. You know what? With Sega's whole initiative about like exploring their older franchises, I wonder if that includes, certain aspects of the big popular ones that they might take a closer look at. So maybe one day we will see a Chow Garden game. Wouldn't that be rad? I spent hours in those Chow Gardens. Still have my Chow on my Dreamcast memory cards. Oh, that's awesome. When you got like a little bit of your legacies that still lives on. Oh man. That actually reminds me of Pokemon. I did read that they were shutting down Wii U and 3DS online services in like a month or two, although they're keeping it on for like 2 specific apps, right? The Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transfer, and that's it. The only 2 things that will still connect online, but even then, that's not gonna last forever. And once that finally goes offline, there's gonna be like a whole branch of Pokemon that just gets cut off from the modern era, right? It's like everything from the 3DS before that. It's just, that's where it's gonna stay. So if you want to transfer your Pokemon, you should probably do it soon. Right? Do it now or forever hold your peace. It's like transferring songs from Rock Band. I remember that when they finally discontinued the song transfer service. They were like, yeah, we kept this open for 5 years, with the implication that if you didn't transfer it in those 5 years, we don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, yeah. Kind of thing you kind of take for granted, right? You think it's going to be there forever until it isn't. And then you're just like wishing, oh man, I wish I'd taken advantage of it at some point. But you didn't, because you think it'd be there forever. And, well, it wasn't. Nice to see all the different versions of Chow you can make with the right chaos drives and stuff. There's always that element of mystery. I think that's like the thing that some people like about some games. It's always that element of discovery. It's always like, yeah, I'm gonna try mixes of different things here and see what I can turn up. I know some people enjoy that, and I definitely get the appeal. Yeah, I like the Chaos Drives because it was always just like a straight boost to a stat, whereas the animals would always kind of decrease some other stat, just give them a drive, and it was just a straight boost. That's what I liked about them. It's like you'll only give your Chow certain animals if you wanted like them to kind of better adapt to certain styles. Of course, lots of cuddles with the hero and dark characters, depending on what kind of Chow you wanted to raise from them. Had an awesome one. He had the Shadow-style head shape, but was dark green with light green stripes. Best runner ever. He had the warthog, so it looked like he had little shoes on. Yeah, been ages doing like Skyrail to get bears for climbing. Yeah, that's when the meta sets up. It's like, yep, just you're doing that grind. If you're not grinding for animals, then you're collecting rings for the shop, the black market. Always amusing that they stuck that in a locker. Man, I'm just going back thinking about how the Dreamcast like handled downloadable stuff. It was always fascinating, right? Like if I remember correctly, like Sonic Adventure 2 didn't come out with something like, say, Black Market out the gate. You actually had to go online to get a key for it. And of course, back then it was a key. It's not like you were downloading Black Market data or anything like that. It was like the same deal with the Samba de Amigos songs, right? You weren't actually downloading the song, you were just kind of like getting the key that would unlock it in the game. You know, back then, I guess, people weren't as critical about it. Only because, you know, connections were probably more crap. That was my mom's thing. She'd be doing the Tails levels or Dr. Robotnik to get the drives and animals. Oh yeah. Always the levels with the high density of gun enemies to get those drives. They're boring, but they're practical. Don't have to worry about stat swings, they only give a stat boosts. Alright, so question. Which like version of the Chow Garden theme do you prefer? Do you like prefer Sonic Adventure 2's more mellow, relaxed style? Or do you like Sonic Adventure 1's more like energetic? It's a bit more energetic, right? It's like upbeat and joyous. Well, they're both joyous, but you know, the Sonic Adventure 1's Chow Garden theme has like more energy to it. Yeah, and Sonic Adventure 2 had remixes for each garden as well, while Sonic Adventure 1 only had like the one Chow Garden theme. I did like that about Adventure 2, but I also kind of like prefer Adventure 2 because they have I like the more mellow theme. I think it just like fits better for running around the secluded area with cute little creatures running about, right? It just fits. Oh yeah, that was like my other favorite part of Chow Garden. Just like doing all those tasks to get the toys for your Chow to play with, and then get to see them play with them. And it's like, that's fun, especially when you get enough toys in the later versions where you could screenshot them and share them with everyone. Mind you, Sonic Adventure 1 had a lot of different animals to give, like I remember giraffes. Yeah, I remember Chaos Drives were not a thing until Sonic Adventure 2. You got all animals, all the time. But Sonic Adventure 2 had those elusive special animals like the dragon to get the flame. Ooh, I forgot about that. Kind of thing when games were just like packed with secrets here and there. Just like, secret here will get you a benefit there. And gotta admit, it's like one of the things I liked about Adventure 2. Everything was in the stages, so kind of kept everything moving. Like Sonic Adventure 1, which had the like kind of like the overworld maps, which I guess was kind of nice for building out the world of Sonic, but definitely got a little tedious when you had to run from waypoint to waypoint to kind of progress through the story. And Sonic Adventure 2 is just like, yep, you did the thing, cutscene, next stage. Don't have to worry about wandering about for a while trying to figure out where you need to go next. Right, everything like plot and upgrades and things were all handled rather succinctly. It was pretty cool. Sonic levels would give you a unicorn for the third Chow box. Whoa. Oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 also had like the Chow keys, right? You had to find like those special boxes. The first one you busted open got you the key to go to the garden, and the next two you found would give you like extra stuff. Nice optional challenges for each level too in Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, each one had like 5 missions, I remember that. Yeah, it would be like hard mode, collect a certain number of rings in a certain amount of time, time attack, and I forget what the other one was. I think it like varied. Find a hidden chow. Yeah. I remember, because like most of the time you would need like a late game item to actually find them at all. So you couldn't actually do it for most of the time. It's like you found like that one shrine you need to do Mystic Melody on. It's like, yep, there it is. There's your Chow path right there. I thought hard mode was like a pretty neat idea though. Just like the way they just like remixed the levels to make things more challenging while, you know, working within the confines of the same environment. The later Knuckles and Rouge levels were a pain. I did watch some people play through that, and yeah, that was like the point at which people would usually fail the most. It was always at those hunting levels. I think it was especially painful because I think one person I was watching, they did not get the air breather upgrade for Knuckles. So, you know, when you got to those spots where you had to be underwater for a long time, that was especially nerve-wracking for them. That mad space with their 3 separate planets. Oh my god. It's like before Super Mario Galaxy kind of popularized that concept, or I guess before that, Ratchet and Clank. Like, everyone talks about planetoid platforming. They always talk about Super Mario Galaxy, but no one ever talks about Ratchet and Clank and how they did the whole planetoid platforming thing. Oh god, Aquatic Mine, yep, not a fan. And then Rouge had that one level with the time limit as well. And the time limit was actually kind of tight. Like, even if it felt generous, you would... If you aimlessly wandered around too long, you would run out of time anyway. That one was a bit annoying. Although, watching people play Sonic Adventure 2 actually led me down another brief rabbit hole because... the security hall with all those lasers. Yeah. As I say, because, you know, like, most of the time, if people say, watch someone play Sonic Adventure 2, you're always going to be some quotes, right? You're going to see them repeat things like, I miss my wife Tails, I miss her a lot, or I have an announcement to make, or you fool, I have 70 alternative Twitter accounts. I was not aware of where those lines came from at first. I was like, huh, why is everyone saying all this stuff? Then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, so it came from that real-time fan dub this group did, a Sonic Adventure 2. And I remember just like taking some time, setting aside some time to watch it, and I'm like, ha, yeah, that's actually pretty goddamn hilarious. I can see why. You know, it's so quotable and memorable because those folks did a good job of just improvising the heck out of that game. It's actually pretty fun. Total Unfair 2 on the Egg Quarters with that unbeatable scarab that would have you lose rings. Yeah, Adventure is like one of those games where it was like really cool when it came out, but you try to come back to it and you're definitely gonna see the parts where maybe it hasn't aged the best. Don't get me wrong, I still love them, I still enjoy them, but there are definitely parts where other games have managed to advance past it. It's a lot harder than I remember. Yeah, I think I did spend a lot more time fighting the final boss of Sonic Adventure 2 than I thought I would. as really cool as it was. Sonic Adventure 1, it's so easy to get lost not knowing where to go to advance the story. Yeah. I think that's like part of the reason why they did away with the whole overworld thing in Sonic Adventure 2. Because it's pretty fun at first, right? You just get to run around the whole 3D area, but you know, it's not too much to do during it. You're kind of just running from point A to point B. Maybe hunt down an upgrade here and there. Otherwise, not that much incentive to kind of go explore the world. Holy crap, the laps on this track are long. I'm gonna be driving for a while. I remember getting lost in that forest with Omega. When we talk about Gamma, though, I feel like out of all the characters and kind of like the Sonic universe, Gamma kind of got the shortest end of the stick, right? Poor fella, only active for one game, and, you know, not even that long, right? It's like, by the end of the story, the robot blows up. Granted, the animal is free now, so, you know, there is that, but, man. It was a nice end, though, and I certainly would be lying if I didn't tear up a little bit with the way Gamma's story ended. Yeah, it certainly is telling when they brought in another character, Omega, and, you know, he still persists even to this day, right? I don't think... When was the last time Omega showed up in a Sonic game proper, now that I think about it? Oh, jeez. I feel like it's been a while. When was Omega's last canon appearance? Been a while. Yeah, it has been. I mean, certainly admit that Omega fares a little better than a couple other Sonic characters that maybe appear one game, like Gamma. I guess there's also Marine the Raccoon. Remember her from Sonic Rush Adventure? It's like the annoying sidekick character they introduced. It's like that kind of thing where they're annoying at first, but the longer they stay out of the spotlight, the more people are like, you know what, they weren't that bad. Was it Heroes? Was it? I mean, I would certainly see that. Did they show up in, like, Sonic 06 as well? I can't remember. Now I think about it, were they in Sonic Chronicles? Did Sonic Chronicles come out before or after 06? I guess that's kind of like the turning, the big deal there. So many games at this point, they all run together. It's like that with many a long-running franchise. You just get like so many entries. It's like, oh man. Huge casts, huge continuity or lack thereof. That always amused me when people try to put all the games on a timeline. I remember there being a lot of talks back in the day about, you know, Sonic Advance 2. Oh man, it takes place before Sonic Adventure 2 because the moon in that game is still intact, unlike the moon in Sonic Adventure 2, which, you know, got a giant hole blown through it by a laser. Timelines, they're serious business, man. Hardest timeline to figure out, FNAF. That actually reminds me of the Zelda timeline. I remember for the longest time, you know, people were talking about how that timeline split into 3, right? And Ocarina was always the turning point. It was like either the canon ending where Link defeats Ganon and writes the timeline, and then there was that other one where Link loses, Ganon takes over the world, and there's a third diverging condition, which I forget what it was specifically. But yeah, everything from there on differs in some way or another. Dang it, I'm running out of flashbacks. I really need to... I'm almost certain this, like, section with the cliff face here gave me a lot of trouble in Grid 2. It's kind of funny even with the passage of time, some things remain the same. As things change, some others remain the same. Rocket Knight got all kinds of confused with sequels. Oh, man. Yeah, it gets especially nuts when, you know, the games that come out are like, you know, 3 or 4. Oh, yeah, chronologically, this is actually a prequel between this game and this game. Or something like that. Street Fighter. At that point, it's like, yes, they're numbered in a way, but plot-wise, it's like, yeah, it's all the jumbled mess. It's like a hierarchy order of games that you should follow if you want to follow the story straight. Final Fantasy II with the different games for different regions. Oh, yeah, I remember that. It's like, on the SNES, right, they renumbered them for the international releases. Like, what was it? Final Fantasy 1 was, like, the same, but Final Fantasy 2 in the US was actually another Final Fantasy. I think it was, like, 4 or 3? And then I remember specifically Final Fantasy 3 in the US was actually Final Fantasy 6 in Japan. You know, they finally did away with that weird numbering change thing after a while. Right, so everyone knows. Yeah, Final Fantasy 6 is the one with Terra, and Final Fantasy 3 is the one with the 4 orphans and the Onion Knight, and Final Fantasy 4 is the one with Cecil and you know, etc., etc. Or Dynasty Warriors, actually. I think Dynasty Warriors might actually be, like, the big one. I forget where it was, but, like, yeah, in Japan they're called, like, Musou, and they're always, like, one number higher than the Dynasty Warriors in, overseas. Right, it's like, a Musou 7 in Japan will be, like, Dynasty Warriors 6. Right, something like that. I think it was, like, because the first game was actually a fighting game. It wasn't until, like, the second Musou game that they did their whole, you know, mass army beat-em-up that they're famous for these days. Brought it over, they just called it Dynasty Warriors, and, you know, just kept on like that even to this day. And they wonder why players get totally lost. Yeah. It gets confusing after a while. Especially when they deliberately call the next game just title, right? The thing that happens distressingly often. Where, like, after, you know, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, and then the next game is just game. Also, when did seasons become a thing for games like in Killer Instinct? Kind of interesting how that turns out. Although, I guess... for fighting games, I don't know. I think it's a bit more workable there. When you consider before, if they wanted to do like a new fighting game, they would have to like do a new edition for it, and that would be where they add characters and modes and whatever, right? See Street Fighter. But nowadays, it's just like, yeah, we'll do seasons, right? You get like season 1 with more characters, season 2 gets more characters. Maybe an update, maybe a handful of extra modes. It's just a different way of doing things. I don't know. You can, I guess if you're not a fan of it, then like that's understandable. But you can kind of see like the the parallels to how they would come out with like new editions of the current game until they were ready to move on to their next proper sequel. So now we're doing Night Terrors. Oh boy, Night Terrors. I hate Night Terrors because it means I don't get to sleep well that night. Anyways, Alpine Stars. And we're going back to racing, baby. Oh, we're still using the same set of cars, though. I mean, in Killer Instinct, at least, they added more than just characters, right? They added, it was like either a new arcade mode or like a new mode entirely, and they added some other stuff too, like the ghost battles and other things as well. And like even when they kind of finished up with seasons, they did throw out like 3 more characters. It's kind of nuts, right? The game's like 10 years old. Can you believe it? The game came out like 2013. It's 10 years old now. People still love it. So much so that people are going, man, where is a sequel? Or, you know, at least an update. As long as they keep that awesome announcer, right? One of my favorite things about Killer Instinct, the way the guy just like flips his shit anytime you do something cool. Especially when you get like that double ultra going and he just screams, Ultra! Man. Something about that is like super duper satisfying. But yeah. People are just like, give us a sequel to Killer Instinct. And then for the 10th anniversary, they just come out with, yeah, we're pushing out a new update. We're gonna rebalance some stuff. We're also gonna give everyone a free Ultimate Edition. It has all the DLC in it, so now everyone gets to complete, or, you know, mostly complete edition. So it's like pretty rad. Even if they, you know, even if that's like as far as they go, at least it's something, I guess. I'm sure what people want now is, you know, a new Killer Instinct. What would they call it though? It would be kind of funny if they just called it Killer Instinct 2, right? Because it follows Killer Instinct 1 from 2013. I'm not quite sure they would go from there, because I feel like the fighting for that was already solid enough. And man, having the cast paired back, right? I know, you know, Killer Instinct 2013 had just 6 characters, but still. I'm sure they wouldn't cut it back to 6 again, but even if they left 12 on there, it would be a massive reduction. One of the most banging soundtracks ever. Yeah, thanks, Mick Gordon. And to think it was on the SNES back in the day. Yeah, that was when Rare was like kind of fiddling with the whole 3D stuff, right? They did like 3D models and then posed them in a way, and then that would be like one frame of the sprite, and then they would repeat that enough times until they got their animation set for their sprites, as it were. Yeah, it's come a long way. I do remember when they first announced it for Xbox One, there was a lot of doubt, right? Already a lot of storm and stuff, like a lot of like attention over, you know, Xbox One's policies at the time, but you know, come out with Killer Instinct and people were pretty cynical about it because, oh man, it's like this ultra gritty reboot of this old franchise that has not been touched a while. Clearly they're just doing it to milk money. There's no way this game was gonna be actually good. And then it came, you know, they had the full release, and it turns out it was like surprisingly decent. I think it had to do with the developer too. I don't think Double Helix had the best track record, so people's expectations weren't high, but you know, it came out and people enjoyed it. Certainly a big turnaround, right? It is nice. Turnaround to the point where people are like, yes, please give us another Killer Instinct. It's been a decade. Give us another one. Anything. Around the time we got Killer Instinct in games like Primal Rage. Oh my god, I remember Primal Rage. That's like one of the games my cousins and I played a lot. I think we were just like mostly amused because we got to fight as, you know, prehistoric creatures. And since we were kids, we would button mash. We would button mash like there's no tomorrow. But we would have fun, and that's what matters. Amusing to see your followers in the background. Yeah, and you could eat them too. Yeah, it was like that era of consoles that had like a bunch of interesting fighting games. Then came the black mark on fighting games, Rise of the Robots. Oh man. I think I watched a video on that a while ago. Couldn't tell you for the life of me what it was all about, but yeah. I think it was like on their series where they would play bad fighting games, so how the hell did that get a sequel? That is a mystery for the ages, right? There were like a whole bunch of other fighting games in that era too. I remember a particular DC fighting game that my neighbor and I, my siblings and I, we would play that quite a bit. Even if the roster was pretty light. I don't know. Fighting Superman as Batman, with Batman and Wonder Woman and Green Arrow and Flash and Darkseid. Had an appeal to it.
Listen up. Hold the lead. Last lap.
I had the second one on PS1. So, quick question. How compared like Star Wars, Masters of Terras Kasi, would you put Rise of the Robots above or below that? If you played that, That actually reminds me of another series that I used to watch on another website, where they would play fighting games and then they would put them on a big list somewhere, right? They would just like spend an hour or two playing the game and then they would go, alright, so where would you rank this on the list? That was kind of like the whole of it. I don't know, it was kind of fun seeing the fighting games they would pull out and play. Oh, Rise is the worst of the worst. Controls are as bad as hell. I think it was called Shadow Warriors. It's called Shadow Warriors or something like that. Gotta admit, my involvement with like PlayStation fighting games kind of, it was like maybe Tekken 3, because I had a friend who really enjoyed that game, and Soul Edge. That was like the long and short of it. Street Fighter, the movie, the game was a bad one too. Oh, I think I remember seeing a video of that. That was the one where they had the digitized sprites a la Mortal Kombat, but they did the worst job of it because, you know, digitized sprites wasn't really their forte. Yeah, at least made for nice Mugen characters, if anything.
Hello, Zhejiang, and thank you for joining us for this exciting race. Kristen,
East track reversed. We're going in, baby. Ah, Mugen, home of totally overpowered characters. Only if you let it, right? It's your choice to put Omega Tom Hanks into your roster. Or, you know, the F5 key. That was always fun to, like, see people try to actually beat it. It was like an arms race, right? People would try to put in the most overpowered, cheaty protections on their character to make sure that they would totally wipe the ground. And someone would try to find some way to kind of work around it. Talk about Mugen. I wonder if Salty Bet is still active. I remember hearing about that like a while ago, and people being pretty amused by it. I had to admit, it was like a pretty fun idea, right? Just to do it like a Fight Club, but instead you're trying to bet on who will win an AI match of Mugen. Always like seeing Homer Simpson with his famous entrance, "Out of my way, jerk ass." That was also the other fun part, where people would turn characters who were never in a fighting game into fighting game characters, and do a pretty decent job of it too. Like, I know Peter Griffin was kind of big back then, and of course everyone had fun doing their Peter Griffin versus Homer Simpson fights.
hey everybody, you've been making a lot of noise out there, but can you make some noise once more for Kristen? Okay, hold on, sorry. It looks like things are about to get underway.
On a slightly related note, I wonder if like Twitch Plays is still a thing too. I remember when Twitch Plays Pokemon blew up like the first time. It was like a pretty novel concept, right? It's like audience participation taken to an extreme. It's like, yes, now you will decide the entire fate of the game here. So that was like pretty neat. I do remember like whole saga being built out of it too. Right, that's where we got things like Lord Helix and, you know, famous Pokemon who did famous things, and, you know, whoever ran that, like, did a pretty good job of, like, you know, changing things up, too, to kind of match the lore. Like, I remember it being a big deal when, was it, Twitch Plays Pokemon Gold Silver. The final enemy's team was actually, like, the team that the trainer had for Twitch Plays Pokemon Red Blue. It's pretty rad. And I know a lot of things were spun off of that too, so there'll be a lot of other Twitch Plays this other game too.
Good start.
Always fun to see how they handled that. Just like that Family Guy bit when they recreated Street Fighter 2, Peter versus Mr. Mr. Washi Washi, yeah. Or the chicken. I forget, did they ever make, like, the chicken the playable character? I feel like that's something they would make a playable character, just like the person in the chicken suit who fights Peter. It's not even context to it anymore, they just have big epic fights. Movie style fights, and they're crazy. Ernie, yeah. I do admit, I have a soft spot for, like, the more unconventional characters. Like, I remember one of them was, the drill tank from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and they actually called it, like, stupid little drill tank. You know, its entire shtick was that it drove back and forth across the screen, you know, like the drill tank from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Emerald Hill Zone. And, like, the one thing you could do with it was, shoot the drill out. Again, like the drill tank from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. More of a gimmick than anything else, but a very entertaining gimmick. And yeah, always fun when someone manages to recreate something like that. Yeah, when someone manages to recreate that in like a game engine. Oh yeah, if I remember correctly, there was also like 8-bit Mario. Yeah, 8-bit Mario's shtick was just jump on the enemy, right, like traditional Mario. Of course, the jumps did massive damage, but Mario also took like massive damage in return. Usually it was like enough to 1-hit KO him, or maybe 2-hit KO him, I'm not quite sure which. You know, just like regular Mario. I think I remember there was like actually an entire character that was just the break the targets round from Super Smash Brothers. Someone just recreated break the target and made that a character slot. Thought that was like pretty neat. And of course there were like characters dedicated to the car bonus round and the barrels bonus round from Street Fighter, and among other things. You know, I know Sony had like a big old state of play today, and I forgot to check it out before I started the stream. I know Sonic X Shadow Generations was the big deal thing they announced, but was there like anything else that kind of stood out from that? If you watched it? Maybe after the stream I might like look up an article and see all the other big stuff they announced there. It's actually kind of funny, because like I remember a few weeks before that, Xbox was doing like a developers direct, and I don't know, they had some interesting things, but it felt like almost, at least the places I hung out at, people didn't really talk about it much. I didn't see it, to be honest. I just got the Sonic X Shadow vids recommended to me. Ah, okay.
Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'll probably like read an article about it. I bet all the Shadow fans were losing their minds. Yeah, finally, Shadow fans, as they would say these days, Shadow fans eating well. Yeah, I remember at the Xbox Developers Direct, at least, they did mention, you know, 4 games they were going to cover in detail. But they also had like a surprise, like, quick look at, was it Square Enix's Visions of Mana remake? So that was like pretty cool that they put that in there. I know how crazy fans want Sonic and Shadow to be a canon. Oh, right. Shippers! I'm kind of glad I did not dip my toes into that area of the fandom. You know, especially after hearing secondhand stories from other people who talk about their times in those corners. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Can't imagine getting consumed by that kind of thing. Whew. It's like, hey, if my favorite characters, they do get together proper, great. If they don't, oh well, right? It's life. Life will go on. I can always just imagine in my head or write a story or something where they do get together or something like that. Fanfic, that's why it exists.
And we're heading into the final round now, where it'll all be decided. Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen. Sorry, Grease Control are about to get us underway.
Yeah, fanfics and Rule 32. Ah. But on the subject of Square Enix, I remember an article I read not too long ago that kind of shocked me. It's like the announcement that Dragon Quest Builders was coming to PC. Like, apparently it never came to PC, so now they're rectifying that. Which is doubly amusing, because if I remember correctly, Builders 2 was already on PC, but I guess they're just bringing it on for completion's sake, if more than anything else. It is nice, though, right? People on PC will finally get to play Dragon Quest Builders 1 and see what it was all about. It's like the same idea with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, right? PC version, or at least on Steam. It came out like 3 years after it came out everywhere else, but kind of appreciate that they brought it all the same, even if it is much later than it should have been. PC players always get the short end of the stick. Yeah, especially when it comes to like games that come out on consoles first. On the flip side, if a publisher does, or you know, if the people do especially well with it, you usually get like things that hopefully justify the wait, like, you know, graphics options, audio options, maybe mod support, things like that. Probably wouldn't be surprised if like the Tony Hawk remakes got mods in some way or another. Is there any game in particular that you would want to see come to PC that isn't on PC yet, that has a reasonable chance of being on PC? For me, I think it would have to be like Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. It's because, like, you know, the other Crash and Spyro remakes are on PC, so if you wanted to play like Crash Insane Trilogy or Spyro Reignited, you could do that, but if you want to play Crash Team Racing Nitro Field, you gotta break out a PlayStation console. Which is a shame, because that game is fantastic, and it would be nice if they brought that over. Even if it's like, you know, way long after, and people have probably moved on from that. It's just like, it would be nice. It would be nice. Because, yeah. I think it's mostly because Nitro Field is so great that it's almost a shame that you can't play it on PC. Like, even if they just stuck it on Epic Game Store and I was like, yeah, this is the only way to get it, I'd be like, yes, I will get it there, whatever it takes, man. Just let me have it. For me, more so retro games getting modern remakes. Ah, that's always nice. I do appreciate it when there's a game that gets a good modern remake. Like Persona 3 is about to have one in a few days. I know a lot of people are super excited for that. It seems like it's getting like really good reviews. Obviously, some things you can criticize it for, but for the most part, it seems like it's going to be good. I've been wanting a modern take on Eternal Champions for the longest time. Oh my god, I actually remember playing that on Genesis. I didn't understand it back then. I'm not quite sure if I would understand it more these days, but it would be pretty funny if that were like one of the games Sega gave a proper remake to. Right, just like give that like an update. It's like a part of their update plan along with, you know, Shinobi, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set, etc. Oh, hey, look at that. End of the series. Cool. Alright, what's next? Man, it's like after these first few ones, they've already cranked it back up to kind of like the long forms of these. Now it's just all 3 or 4 round events. Oh man. Golden Axe, Tasmania, yeah. There's actually one I had, just like a sudden desire to look up, right? It was this top-down shooter called Granada. You were like riding a tank, and you had to go through these like top-down levels and destroy a bunch of targets, and then faced off against a boss. And there were like 9 levels like that. I remember because notably, it wasn't like a one-hit kill. You actually had a shield meter that would incur damage, and of course, if you ran out of shield, you died, and you had 3 lives that way. You know, you had to go through all 9 levels with that limited stock of lives. I remember playing that on the original Genesis like a long time ago, and I just like, man, I wonder what that game was like. And then I went back and checked it out. I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh, the Strike series. EA hasn't done one since Soviet Strike on PS1. Oh my god.
How you feeling about this one?
Look, I feel like it's
I think I remember Desert Strike on my cousin's Genesis. Certainly had fun with that. It's like, oh man, I get to fly around in a helicopter. I get to, you know, blow stuff up. It appealed to kid us. Desert, jungle, nuclear, all epic. That might be like a pretty good one for a remake candidate. Like, do you remember what that one game? I think it was called like Renegade Ops or something like that. It's like made by the people who did Just Cause, and it was like that sort of twin stick shooter where you kind of, you know, drove around the world and blew stuff up. It was pretty rad. The name sounds familiar. Yeah. I imagine a modern Strike game probably being something like that. It'll be like a kind of like the top-down twin stick style of shooting stuff. I think that would be like the best way to do like a modern Strike, if they were to do one, of course. Could you imagine if they did something like a modern NFL Blitz or something like that? Just like more arcadey take on a sports game. Because I know a lot of people speak highly about the Blitzes of old. So I just want to see them do like modern version of a fast-paced football game. Or, you know, a sports game in general. Could be soccer. I know there was Road Redemption as a new Road Rash, but an official Road Rash would be amazing. Oh, you are so right about that. Also, when you think about it, Road Redemption was kind of its own thing. Sure, it might have had, like, Road Rash as an inspiration, but Redemption, at the very least, was kind of a different beast. You know, even if the whole format was pretty similar, where, you know, you're driving down a long road and you got, like, melee weapons you can use to take out enemies who came up to your sides and stuff. Still pretty cool, but certainly if you were looking for something to scratch that Road Rash itch, that's a combination of words I thought I would never say, but yeah, you would probably be looking elsewhere. On a side note, if you do have a Road Rash itch, don't scratch it. Go see a doctor about it. Man, we are flying down this track. Ah! Like, just thinking, every time I go fast, I just think about the G.I. Joe PSA. Holy cow, I'm going so fast. Ah, fuck! It's just ingrained into my head. That's the scene that pops up whenever I go really fast. Anyone have scenes like that, or moments like that, where some sort of memory is just become so ingrained within you that that's the thing you think about when you do a particular thing? I was rocking that Road Rash since the first one way back in the early 90s. Ooh. Long time fan. I think I remember my older brother playing it. I remember thinking it was kind of cool. hey, what's cooler than riding on a motorcycle and then just like using one hand to kind of fend off other folks who wanted to attack you for some reason or another. Man, now I want to look up road rash videos. Maybe I'll do that after I'm done here. Got such laughs out of crashing as a kid, the way you fly a mile up the road. That's like an outrun when you hit an obstacle and you just see your Ferrari just flip into the air. It's like, oh man. You see the sick flips it did? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why the game was called Road Rash, right? Because you know. Yeah. I rented it from the video shop to try it out because it looked cool. Oh my god. Rental stores. Been a while since I thought about them. It's actually pretty funny because they still exist in kind of sort of a way. Although they're not stores anymore, they're just more like kiosks you might see outside of a grocery shop or something, but yeah. Back in the days of Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, there used to be a whole business about just renting out games or movies. I remember making pretty fair use of it, like anytime I would visit my older brother, one of the things we would do would be to go out to Blockbuster and be like, alright, let's pick out a game to rent and we'll just spend the afternoon playing that. Or the one time I hung out with my cousins and we are like, yeah, let's go out to Blockbuster and just grab a movie. And we grabbed 300 and we had fun with that. It was like 500 yards up the road, so it was super handy to get vids and games. It's great when you get a shop that's like that's just a close walk away. I like that. Like one area I lived in, you know, when I lived in areas that had like stores within walking distance, it was nice. It's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about hopping onto a train or a bus to make your way there. You don't have to worry about schedules too much. You could kind of go on your own accord, and I like that. I like that about that. You know, one thing I always keep on wondering is like how the last Blockbuster on Earth is doing. It's like that's somewhere in Oregon. I remember, you know, people would make pilgrimages all the way out there because, you know, someone's keeping that dream alive, even if it's for novelty's sake. It's kind of nice, right? Just a snapshot of history right there. You can kind of live it even. I remember reading that they will like honor whatever cards you might have with them. Right, if you had like some sort of account card or gift card or something, they would honor that. And they actually do keep things up to date too, so you can actually like rent modern games and movies and that kind of stuff. So that's like pretty cool, right? Spend a lot of time in that local video shop. Yeah, I bet. Pretty good hangout. Just talk shop with the cashier there. As long as they don't get annoyed with you. Actually, I remember, like, just before the end for Blockbuster, they had that whole, I remember the whole campaign they tried to run with, like, no more late fees. I think I remember people pointing to that as kind of like one of the reasons why it kind of accelerated its demise. Because, you know, when you don't have to worry about late fees anymore, you kind of incentivize them to just, like, hang on to it. I don't know. Something about the way it worked didn't work out as well, right? It didn't work out like the way they probably thought it would. Sure, it's taking a while to load. Well, just as I say that, it finishes loading.
Hello,
Speak of the devil.
It's race day, and Kristen and I are on the scene. Kristen, tell us what's going on.
It's always that thing, right? It's like you try whatever you can, right? You're actually doing the thing you're supposed to be doing when no one's watching, and that one moment you diverge like a little bit, or that one moment someone decides to try to give you a hand, suddenly just like all goes pear-shaped. And like, look, I swear I was trying on this for the longest time. You gotta believe me. And sometimes they don't believe you, and that blows, man. I'm sure that's probably happened to you before, right? Couldn't tell you the number of times I was, I would be doing something like my homework as a kid, right? And I decide, hey, maybe I've been at this worksheet for a while. I'm just gonna take a quick break, and that would be like that one moment my parents decide to check in on me and like, why are you slacking off? I'm like, I'm not slacking off. I was doing my work diligently before you came in on me. And of course they'd be like, sure you were. Sometimes they wonder why I have trust issues. Many times. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one, at least. Never get believed as a kid. It's like doubly a bummer because you see like all the other kids who have parents who will defend them to the death, and always makes you wonder, man, what makes me different? Why do my parents not want to stand up for me? Or, at least try to comfort me if bad things happen. And it's all about the hand you're dealt. Some people get dealt worse hands than others.
From the mountains to the sea, everyone knows it's race day in Okutama.
Just seems like it's like exceedingly rare you get the combination of decent parents and kid who grows up to be decent as well. They certainly exist, but yeah, I don't know. I hear a lot more stories about, either kids get massively spoiled or they get massively neglected. Especially these days. At the very least, they come more to light these days, right? It's like, I think the way people put it is like, yeah, it's like the kind of thing you used to think was like normal, and then, you grow up, you realize that's not normal, and in the days of the internet, where it's kind of easy to have your story be heard, you hear a lot more of it, and it's kind of like you realize, oh, man, yeah, no, it's not, right? It's not normal. Either you're like recalling a tale and you get a bunch of people telling you, yo, that's kind of fucked up, man. Or you like see someone else recount a tale all casually and you're like, dude, that's like a little fucked up, man. At the very least, it's at least you can get like appreciate the new perspective you get sometimes, right? When someone kind of lets you know, yeah, that's off, right? It's not how other people should. That's not how this trajectory usually goes, right? Yeah, if spoiled, they grow up to be entitled Karens. Yeah. Unfortunately, that persists too. The ones who unfortunately rub off the wrong lesson, who learn the wrong lessons from life and perpetuate the cycle. I think it's why you see a lot of people just try to advise, yeah, you gotta kind of like, shut them down. You can't just let them pass. That's how the problem persists. You gotta either let them know that their behavior is not welcome, and hopefully they'll either try to change their ways or they'll go elsewhere. Either way, you don't have to put up with it, right? Despite what other folks might say, you don't have to put up with it. You can clap back, as it were. Sadly, here lately the biggest thing is knife crime. It's got real bad. Yeah, that's... It's weird sometimes, right? Occasionally you get that article, you see some guy assaulted another guy for what seems to be like the most mundane of reasons. And it's like, Clearly there's probably a build-up to that point, but it's always a shame, right? It's always a shame it comes to something like that. Quite sure why it takes so long to kind of load in and out of that track in particular. I wonder if it's just like the particular conditions. Alright, 2-lap track. Alright, so this should be sort of quick, right? We can hope. Looks technical. It kind of did. Lots of tight turns and corners there. Let's take another look at it real quick. Yeah, look at that. You got one particular section of track that's going every which way. Oh man. It's gonna be fun. I guess on the bright side, there are a few parts where you can just hit that gas. You can kind of let loose, at least for a little bit. Whee! Oof, of course it's rain. Yeah, sunset rain. Well, hopefully at least the scenery will be nice, kinda. I don't know, something about sunset and rain has a potentially cool appeal to it. The Zhejiang circuit. Okay, why is this taking so long to load? Why is this event in particular taking so long to load? I don't think, like, most other tracks have taken quite this long, like... Is it specifically because of the weather condition? Like, they gotta, like, render the rain in the track and everything? Get that nice red-pink sky, yeah. I like a good sunset like that. Especially when you're kind of like just standing there and watching the sky kind of transition from the red-pink to inky blackness. Oh man, it's all overcast. Well, never mind. So much for sunset. Yeah, or sometimes when it looks like a sky full of fire. Yeah, when you get like that radiant orange. Okay, I'm not even like hearing sounds anymore. Are you hearing? The golden hour. Okay, I'm a little worried. Can I? Okay, what the actual heck? We're like experiencing some sort of weird sound delay. That's some menu lag, right? Holy cow. I mean, the sounds are here now. So, even the sounds took even longer to load in than the level itself did. Although, like, look at all this wet pavement, man. Probably not surprised that... Ah, wait, here we go. There's the money shot, right? The slight glimmer of orange in the background there. Amongst this mostly overcast sky. Man, it's messing up my turning something fierce. As we say here, red sky at night, sailor's delight, so good day tomorrow. First time I heard of that saying, I think. That's like pretty cool, actually. I know there are a lot of things people kind of have taken as sort of a sign, right? Particular action or a particular appearance has people just like all a buzz. Red sky in the morning, sailor's warning. I think I remember hearing about that somewhere. Weird that I would know that I would hear about one part of the rhyme but not the other. Yeah, yep, when the cows are lying down, it's gonna rain. I think they've like scientifically proven that one. It's like something about the way cows can sense rain and how lying down actually gives them an advantage when it rains. The one I actually learned about recently that comes to mind is not exactly kind of like a saying, but more of a superstition that I didn't even realize was a thing. Apparently, some people don't do laundry on like the first day of a new year because that washes away the good luck that you have. I'm not quite sure how that all correlates together, but that's what some people believe. Certainly surprised me when people told me about it. Never heard of that one before, yeah. Certainly was an interesting one to hear about. But yeah, it was like doing laundry and showering, if I remember correctly, right? Both of those, apparently you don't want to do on like the first day of a new year. Or like with Chinese New Year specifically, the reason why you see a lot of things are red is because red usually is tied to good luck. So that's why, you know, you'll see people like hand out red envelopes with the money in them. Oh, Holy Cow 112, thank you for the follow. Also fitting that we would get someone named Holy Cow following us after we were talking about how you know, a legend related to cows, right? But yeah, the reason why you see red a lot during like Chinese New Year themed events is because red is tied to luck. Occasionally you'll see like blue too, and that's because apparently blue is like related to a good career. So, you know, red is for good luck and blue is for like having a good future, right? Good job, good career, things like that. Can't complain about any event that has a lot of red. Red gold, right? That's like the common color scheme you'll see around New Year, the Lunar New Year. I keep on forgetting. It's rain, so I gotta maybe dial it back like by a factor of 10. You got me thinking now. My local Chinese takeaway always gives scroll calendars out to customers with the new year and animals and what they mean. Ah! That's always fun. I think, Asian stores near me did that too. Like, my parents would specifically go shopping around that time period so they could get a calendar. Because, you know, free stuff draws people like, bees to honey. Things like that. Oh, I mean, at the very least, the calendar is, like, properly useful. But yeah, the whole tradition with the animals, too. Like, how you kind of rotate through those animals. Yeah, so last year was like Year of the Rabbit, and then the upcoming year is Year of the Dragon. Although I guess depending on where you are, right? It's like Year of the Rabbit is for Chinese New Year, but if you're talking about like say Vietnamese New Year, then they actually do cats. So it's kind of interesting to note, even if like most of the other animals of the zodiac are the same. Some of them change between certain cultures. Yeah, at the very least, I know I got the perfect game I can post about once Year of the Dragon hits, right? It's gonna tweet a picture of Spyro Year of the Dragon. Also, you notice how this track like loaded in way more quickly than the other one did? It's because we have this perfectly clean weather going here. No rain, no shiny pavement, no effects they gotta worry about except maybe the leaves. It's just all sunny weather. Nice cherry blossom, right? You can just feel the spring breeze just emanating from this area here. It's gotta be real pleasant to be out here to watch this driver, you know, do their heats. Oh man, that actually reminds me of something funny. Because Tekken 8 has a new mechanic, which they call the heat system. It's kind of like their super mode, and a lot of people have realized that, like, the best way to talk about the heat system is like when, you know, someone activates it, they realize they're kind of like the shortest terminology they can go with is to say character is in heat, which is like, It's like, oh man, I'm sure the word heat on its own, it's like kind of neat, but I wonder if they'll try to find new terminology or if they'll just roll with it, right? Knowing the internet, they'll just sort of go like, yes, then you activate the heat state and then you go in heat, hee hee hoo hoo ha ha. Because anyone who's been on the internet long enough knows that people love a double entendre. Doesn't even have to be a good one. It's just something you can just giggle to in any capacity. Of course, everyone wants to hear like Brian Fury is in heat. Yeah, exactly. Gotta admit, I didn't realize this was actually a sprint track at first. But yeah, this is a sprint track. As you can see, they have a percentage meter up there and not a laps counter. And it actually goes up pretty quickly, right? It's already at 20%. We're only like 70%. We're only 17 seconds into the race here. Get back here, you son of a...
Understood. I'll ask them to.
Oops.
Stay out of the car. Don't get taken out.
Trust me, I will try my best. Getting some 2-gay vibes from this section. Which makes it all the more glaring that there's no 2-gay mode in this game. Like, sheesh. This would have been the perfect place to have a 2-game mode. You know, like anything else from Grid 2, really. Ah, man. I know, I read about, like, reviews of Grid Autosport and how people don't, you know, there are mixed feelings to it, much like Grid 2. Fortunately, I haven't been able to find a copy of it since it's been delisted, so that might be one of those games that's very well lost to time, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm just curious if, like, Autosport had, like, additional alternate modes like 2 did, or if it was just, like, you know, mostly race most of the time. The Pro Tuned Championship. Four rounds. Alright. We'll be here for a little bit. Night Rain. So this might take a while to load, actually. Going to Shanghai. Someone needs to make a game that takes the best parts of Gran Turismo, Forza, Grid, Test Drive, etc. to make the ultimate racing game. You say that for a lot of games, like, man, if we could only take, like, the best parts of... Or the best components from a variety of games, we could create ourselves the Uber game. The ultimate game, as it were. I'd fund that if I won the lottery. I would certainly look forward to it. I don't know. Personally, I've always had, like, the now that I know, it's like, you know, the wildest idea, but I always always drafted ideas for, like, the ultimate kart racing game. It would include, like, every popular character from every game ever, and have, like, you know, lots of tracks representing multiple franchises, and of course a unified weapon system and a boost meter because boosting is cool, and I was really into Burnout. You know, it would have been the best racing game, kart racer ever, and the campaign would have been so sweet, and it had like 100 different modes, different event types, and seriously, it would have been so sweet, y'all. Could totally see an Azure Gale RPG game. Haha! Yeah. Make the main character be a person who practices magic and stuff. That would be pretty rad. Like me, the mage, dressed in blue, and then you have like a knight whose color scheme is red, and then like the archer who dresses in mostly greens, and then, you know, the rogue who is mostly dresses in yellow, or maybe purple, not quite sure, maybe purple because purple is cool. But yeah, that would be the party right there. I guess you could want to expand it to like a 6-person party. You could have like a fighter clad in orange, and then a cleric dressed in yellow. Yeah, there we go. There we go. The party of 6 right there. The 6 legendary heroes. Get some backstory and lore about your character. Yeah, lore. That's a big popular VTuber thing. I actually have like an idea for lore in my mind, but yeah, I'm still working on it. You know, it's in the works. Probably saw hints of it with what I reply to other people. It's a lot more down to earth, right? Most of the time when I see some VTuber debut, they usually have like the most dramatic intros, right? They're like some super epic character who got into a big dramatic battle with this ultimate foe. You know, stuff that happens, you know, stuff happens and they finally decide, yeah, I'm gonna settle down and like play video games, or I'm playing video games while I'm on the run trying to be on the down low. or something like that. The wandering VTuber has found a home. We will see. We will see.
Come on, I think you've hit them one too many times.
To be honest, at this point, I'm just kind of like waiting for my live 2D to be finished. Thankfully, the people who are working on it they have like a progress board set up, so you know they can at least see how far along they are on their job, and you know they're making progress. And since this is like a personal thing, I can wait. It'll come when it comes, and when it comes, that's gonna be so great. Oh man. Now, as fun as a V-Roid model has been, being able to swap clothes and all that, it'll be nice to have a live 2D I can call my own. I still like your OG PNG one. You know, incidentally, that's just the model. That was just like the PNG version of the model I currently use. Right. I just like made the model and then posed it and then used that PNG for a while. And after that, I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't I just like export the model and then find a program that I can use to kind of, you know, animate it in a way. And that's how I discovered VC Face. That lets me use VRoid models like a VTuber model, and that's what I've been using up to this point. It works pretty well, right? It works pretty well for... lets you kind of get your feet in the water. If you're unsure about the whole thing, VRoid is free, VC Face is free, and as long as you have like a little bit of technical know-how, you can get yourself a setup that will let you kind of try out this whole thing. But barring that, you know, nothing wrong with a PNG. That also is cool. Doesn't even have to be like, you know, anything substantial. You can just get any old anime PNG and use that as your character. Like, I remember seeing someone out there who, you know, they used like a picture of Ferris from RE0. They used that for like a while, so you know, it's all about what you feel comfortable with and what you can work with too. That's another one. Round 1 of 4. I don't have the heart to change my profile pic. I get that feel. Right, so like an avatar that you become attached to, and also it's like what people have come to associate you with. I think I lucked out on that end. I feel like the forums I frequented, I changed avatars frequently enough that, you know, people, they will get thrown for a bit, but they're like, ah, yeah, okay. They get used to it. Yeah, I could certainly get the other part where it's like, yeah, you stick with it for so long and you like it so much that it's like it's kind of become part of your identity one way or another. Looks really cute and handsome and was the first pick I commissioned. Ah, yeah, there's that too. when you get the art that you can call your own, right? It's like the character that really speaks to you as is you in more ways, in most ways conceivable. I get that feel. And that's like part of the reason why VTubing has become popular. Because you can truly like create a character in your own image. Right? You don't have to worry about a real life camera on yourself and having to be, you know, at the top of your appearance game. Because having a VTuber avatar means you will most of the time be at the top of your appearance game. Dang it. I think I turned in a bit too hard for this one. Try that again. Yeah, total freedom to make what you want and have some cool lore and everything. It's kind of like making an OC, right? It's like an OC into a whole sea of OCs. Kind of like, you know, work from there. It's like, you really are making your own story. Yeah, so one thing I've always said, one thing I like about VTubing, you can choose how you want to present yourself to the world. You know, most of the time, it might be an anime character, but you know, it might be other folks who might want to try something a bit more out there, right? They might want to try being an animal, or you know, might want to try like a different style of animation. Like I know some people who have done, you know, not anime, but they've done more like the 1950s style Felix the Cat slash Betty Boop style characters. Seen some really nice furry ones on Twitch. Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely, a whole lot of furry characters. You know, it's real nice for like folks who might be, say, transgender or non-binary, or otherwise gender non-conforming. Let them be their true selves, which is like, that's pretty cool too. You can see why VTubing is beloved amongst certain crowds, at least. Yeah, I know I have like, yeah, even when my live 2D isn't like quite released yet, I actually have alternate outfits that I have in mind that I want to get. It's like based off of clothes that, you know, I really like and would totally wear if I had half the chance. So I'll just like make my VTuber wear them and totally enjoy them that way, right? A streamer friend of mine is having his PNG image worked on at the moment to make it 3D. Oh. See, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's always nice when that happens, when you kind of get like another version of your character and like, oh man, I can't believe you get all these details. So seeing like a 3D version of your character that was like originally 2D before. Just thinking about like what the modeler must have done to try to get it as accurate as possible while still making it, giving it some like volume and still making it true to the 2D form. That's pretty cool. I don't know how long it's been around, but I saw a program floating around that was called like PNG Tuber Plus, which I have to assume is like gives PNG tubers like a little bit more life, right? Not just having like a still image. Or as I like usually see with PNG tubers, you have like the idle state and like the speaking state where their mouth is more open. So that's like pretty cool.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
It's just a matter of time, man. Now remember, this isn't Forza. It's not like you'll be able to get away with going off track like 80% of the time. I do kind of like the way they handle off-track penalties in this game. It's like, you have a certain amount of allowance for staying off track, but do it too long and you're gonna either get dinged with a penalty or your lap time will not be recognized. I think it's like it's a fair enough way of doing it. Little leeway for error and accidents, but obviously if you're doing it on purpose, then they're gonna rightfully ding you for it. Yeah, some leeway, but no cutting the track completely. Like, I remember in Grid 2, like, if you went off track, they would just give you they would just stall out your car for a bit, or slow down your car, like, significantly for a little bit. Definitely enough that whatever advantage you would have gained from doing the track cutting would be completely erased. Thought that was alright, but I guess it didn't make as much sense as, say, a time penalty or a lap invalidation. Next race. Oh, we're back to Okutama Sprint. Great. Oh, I didn't check to see if this was like the only sprint track in the game. Feels like the majority of the tracks we've gone to have been circuits. It could be official circuits or city circuits, but circuits nonetheless. And it's rain too, so I gotta be extra careful around these turns. Street tracks can go blow a balloon, they suck. Yeah, they weren't really built for racing, that's for sure. At least not for racing fast. Certainly not like the official tracks and country tracks, which have much more generous roads. Like, pretty sure even then, I'm sure like some of these areas have their street widths fudged a bit so that they'd be even more generous with the turns and what have you. Could understand if they were for K cars. Ah, jeez. Can I take that again? I do have 5 flashbacks, so I can use that to correct any errors I have. Alright, we'll go here. There we go, much better, see? I'd have no chance with my project car. see. Instead of going downhill, we're now going uphill. Grid's uphill jam. You know what always amused me about the Tony Hawk series? It was like when Tony Hawk said that his favorite stages were always the racing ones, right? The ones where you're like going down the fixed track. So I know those tend to be the player's least favorite ones. I think it's because they're linear, so you only get like one shot at the goal. So that makes it annoying for, you know, trying to complete it, which I get. You know, it's like enough of annoyance that they in like the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remakes, the two particular levels that are like downhill jam style levels, they let you have the entire 2 minutes and just, you know, stick you back on the top if there's time remaining. Don't mind a hill climb. I don't mind a hill climb as long as it's not a long hill climb, because, you know, those things wear you out like super quick, man. I had a lot of fun with those Tony Hawk games. Great soundtracks, nice board options. Yeah, soundtracks especially. Man, there's a reason why Goldfinger Superman is closely linked with the series. Why it's like the first thing you hear when you start up the remakes. Yeah, character customization was kind of a draw for it. Being able to create your own custom character and just have them work their way up the skating world, that was pretty cool. Grinding to AC/DC's TNT. Yeah, that was dynamite for sure. I know I've said this already, but it's an absolute bummer that we're only ever gonna get 1 and 2 remade. Never gonna see 3. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see 3. That's always regarded as kind of the game that completes the formula. It probably would have been 3 and 4, and I know people were okay with 4 also, so I'm sure that would have been received all right. I imagine there's some folks out there who would have been fine with like a Tony Hawk's Underground remake as well. Because they kind of like took the customization angle and took it to the extreme. But if you want to experience that, you're gonna have to kind of, you know, seek different avenues for that. That was my introduction to my fave band, Primus. Nice. Yeah, I think it was a video game that was actually an introduction to my favorite band as well. Like, it was thanks to Rock Band that I kind of started getting into Foo Fighters. I found their music really spoke to me. Really good way to discover bands, indeed. Yeah, most games that have like a licensed soundtrack, usually a good way to kind of get the sampler platter of all the popular songs, and then you can kind of choose which ones you want to dive deeper into the discographies of. Yeah, like, I can't hear Jimmy Eats World without thinking of Burnout 3, right? It's like me, how I can't think of Rise Against Paper Wings without thinking of Burnout 3. Or Chemical Brothers' The Big Jump without thinking of Revenge. Or Avril Lavigne's Girlfriend without thinking of Dominator. I think, like, Dominator or Paradise, I forget which one that song was in. Especially notable because for some reason they decided to put in that song in 4 languages. Like, that was apparently necessary. I don't know. But yeah, I think, at the very least... Yeah, Rise Against was one of those bands I actually picked up because of Burnout 3. And of course, the messages kind of spoke to me as well. And, even if the songs, most of their other songs were pretty different from Paper Wings, it, still spoke to me in a way. Oh, and of course, B-side wins again is my Need for Speed Most Wanted jam. I think for me it would have to be like, You Will Be Under My Wheels, which I think that was also a Chemical Brothers track, if I remember correctly. I don't know, it was just like real funky fresh and felt appropriate for the mood of the game. I know there were rumors of like there being like an Underground 2 remake, but if they did like a Most Wanted remake, I would be all over that, man. Most Wanted felt like kind of like the peak Police Pursuit. Felt like the one where they got it right and where they felt the most tense, and no other game quite hit the highs that game had. Maybe Hot Pursuit. Maybe Hot Pursuit got close, but that was still a different beast from Most Wanted. I should say Hot Pursuit 2010. Every playlist needs LAX from Zibbit. Yeah, I imagine everyone has that one song that they would greatly enjoy no matter what game it appeared in. I think a lot of people were put off by the sepia filter and constant daytime Most Wanted. Yeah, that was like the Most Wanted was kind of the thick of the real is brown era, and after the neon lights and the glitz and glamour of the underground, going to like the more drab comparatively of Most Wanted might have put some folks off, but I don't know. I guess gameplay for me at least was enough to kind of roll with it, right? It's like, yeah, that's fine. The races are still cool, and police pursuits are still cool. I don't know, I like how like some of the modes kind of tied into the whole law breaking aspect of it too. Like I remember the one mode they had was like Speed Trap, and the whole aim there was to have like the highest speeds recorded when you hit all the speed traps, and I thought that was thematically appropriate with the kind of game Most Wanted is. So yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah, nice selection of cars, good chop chases and all of that. Yeah, the cutscenes they hit that sweet spot between sort of serious and just mind-blowingly goofy. Right, they're like so overwashed with color, and everyone is just so dramatic with their acting. You can't help but just smile. This feels, I guess it feels like 90s game era, right? When you would have like those mega dramatic cutscenes there too. Fun times. Yeah, how the music would get all dramatic. Razor. I don't know, the one I always see quoted is like, when the guy goes, "I want every cop out there," right? And then someone else goes like, "Everyone," and he just yells, "Everyone!"
Final lap. Keep that lead intact.
Ah, you like the cast of Carbon. I know that was like the follow-up to Most Wanted, and they tried to bring back some of the stuff from the Underground days, like how it was all night themed, and there's all the neons and stuff. They also brought in that sort of downhill dual style races, that the two-gay style races, I guess I should say. Even if Neville is cringy as hell. Oh, not every character can be a hit, right? I do remember them making a little bit of a deal about their whole, partner driver system. I remember because you could have like 3 types of drivers. You could have like the one that tries to defend your position, the one that tries to like assault others, and another one that will help you uncover shortcuts. It was in that era where you needed that sort of speed power technique kind of option. The pursuit breakers. Oh yeah, I remember those, right? You hit the supports to make that donut fall down and roll over some cars, or to make a scaffolding collapse and things like that. Oh hey, look at that. Another event in the books. Yeah, but again, Most Wanted, I felt like kind of like peak for pursuits. Hot Pursuit 2010, I'd say, would come in a close second. Wish other games would kind of measure up to it, either with the stakes or the intensity at which the force came after you for it. Alright. I think I will do one more, so we'll do maximum attack here. Time attack. Yeah, and having to work your way up the ladder, the most wanted list. Yeah, it felt, again, appropriate, right? The 15 elite racers in the city, and you just gotta build up your rep, your infamy, so that you'll get their attention, and then you would totally own them in the race. And then they had that whole pink slip thing where you could get their ride with their personalized livery and special parts for your own. The other thing that will always fascinate me is like the fictional cities that Need for Speed would create, that you would drive through. It was kind of fun, right? Just seeing how they would lay out the city and the sorts of landmarks it would have, and the kind of locales it would have, and how they would be conductive to certain styles of driving and things like that. In fact, there was that one Need for Speed game. I think it was like called Need for Speed World or something like that, where they actually linked some of those cities together. Just made them like a tri-county area. And that was like kind of fun, right? Just imagining how you would put all these cities on a state, right? Just imagine like Need for Speed country, and just imagine how all these cities would be connected in some way or another. Nothing like cruising around the hills, Beacon Heights, and Underground 2. Always fun for that, too. You just go into free drive and just cruise around the city and take all the time you want to look at the landmarks and look at the city that the devs have constructed. No! I will not accept this invalidation. This is why I keep these flashbacks. Man, it seems like if you go all the way off-road, then you have a very, very short window of leniency there. If you don't get right back on, you're kind of done. You're gonna be eating a penalty. Boom! Another one in the bag. What was everyone's like favorite free roam area to kind of wander around if you like played an open world game? I think for me it might actually be the city in Horizon 3. Maybe like that and the farm hills. Ooh, maybe like the desert as well. I don't know, Horizon 3 just had like a good mix of scenery for you to drive through. A lot of varied scenery as well. Lots of biomes, as someone might put it. I used to do that a lot in Horizon 4, just cruise and enjoy my homeland. Yeah, now that's the stuff. Yeah, I can see the appeal of that. Especially when you're familiar with the location yourself and like, oh yeah, I know that place. Ah yeah, I know that place. It's like someone playing Spider-Man who lives in New York and they're like, hey, I know that building, right? At least I know what building would be here if I were at this location proper. Always reminds me of that one video I saw where someone was playing Spider-Man and, you know, they came across like what would be an art museum or something like that, right? Then they just like pan the camera to look out the window and you just see like that same art museum just outside that window. And just thinking, fun stuff. It's like, I recognize that spot. Yeah. I don't think that would personally happen to me. I don't live in an area that would be notable enough that someone would create a video game environment about it, that's for sure. Like, maybe someone might use it as like a setting for a TV show in prime time, but it's kind of like the extent of it, I think. Wow, this race is actually closer. I'm looking over at the leaderboard, and second place is about 0.2 of a second from taking my spot here. Dang it. Well, this is what flashbacks are for. Moorhead Wind Farm, Glenrock Viaduct, up towards Mortimer Gardens from Horizon 4, the Canyon and Dam in Horizon 1. Always like that glass pyramid that was in Paris level of Midnight Club 2. Oh yeah, I remember that pyramid. Had some pretty epic races through that. And yeah, the canyon in Horizon 1 was pretty awesome. Like that singular road that kind of led you out to that region. It was pretty cool. I'd rather drive that than the Grand Caldera, or what is it, Copper Canyon? I think it's like a decent enough canyon area, but yeah, there's certainly better canyon areas to be had, especially in the Rally Adventure expansion, for that matter. Ooh, and there was that seaside town in Horizon 2. I think it was Nice. Yeah, it was like pretty fun, right? You got like the ocean on one side, the town on the other side, and if you left town, you got to go on like a nice cliffside drive. Wait, second? Oh, someone actually managed to beat my lap time. Yeah, okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm still first overall so far. Copper Canyon needs to just go away. Surfer's Paradise in Horizon 3. Yeah, the city. Man. The best city in, like, any game, I think. Only because, you know, it's like the most modern city and the only one of its type. At least as far as the Horizon games are concerned. I don't think there are any other games that have, like, skyscrapers as a prominent feature. Tall buildings, sure, but certainly nothing that screams just, like, super modern-looking city. Like Horizon 3 did. I was really fascinated by the abandoned mining town in Horizon 1. A lot of landmarks I forgot about in Horizon 1. Yeah, they did have a mining town, along with a canyon, and they did have, like, their town area, though that was more like a kind of like a downtown you might see in, downtown small town you might see in at least in the US anyway. Slate Quarry in Horizon 4. Oh yeah, the entire quarry area. I remember that. That was a pretty cool area as well. Perhaps my favorite amongst the, like, mining type areas they had. It's like big, open, and conductive to racing. Yeah, it was a great place for playground games events. Ah, dang it. I'm not quite sure what I expected. Yeah, that's what I get for trying to cut a corner too close there. They were gonna notice that. Oh man. Now I think about it, the season's gonna roll over in Horizon 5 in a few hours, isn't it? Like just a little bit. We're gonna head into Lunar New Year, and we're gonna get to see the stuff they have in store for that. Like, I'm probably expecting they'll probably have a lot of Asian cars that are going to be featured for that month, because I don't know, that would make a lot of sense. That steel works Coal Harbor and Underground 2 that glow from the melted metal. Oh man, they're all Chinese and Korean cars. You know what? That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Well, actually, I'm surprised there's, like, no Japanese cars, but maybe that will get its own season. To be honest, I'm more looking forward to those dragons and drones at the stadium. I am looking forward to seeing the decor they have. It's like one of those things I wish would stay up, and you could, like, maybe have a toggle as to what kind of scenery you want to see, but I guess it's nice they are switching it up some way or another. I am gonna miss having that neon airstrip, though, and having all those extra PR stunts just lying around. I should probably check to make sure I got, like, 3 stars in all of them before they go away. The cars are just meh, more crap that's gonna collect dust in my garage. As it goes for, like, 95% of the cars in that game. Most of the time, yeah, like, imagine most people will stick to their favorites and maybe meta cars if that's what they're really into. Me, I'm not, like, into the competitive side too much. I'm just like, hey, here's some cars I think are cool and will help me complete the season. I will trick them out. The big 2-8. Ah, 5 minutes in proximity. Oh, wait. Huh. That went by... Wow. I mean, it was a time attack, and I guess the tracks were appropriately quick. Oh, and this is... Oh, 1 lap round. Oh, you know what? Let's do this one. Oh, geez, okay. Actually different selection of cars this time. Alright. What do we want to do? I like this one's powers all the way up, but it also has a lot more weight than some of these other ones here. I wonder what that 01 exclamation point means. I wonder if that means it's got, like, some sort of bonus decoration or something. Anyways, I'm gonna pick this up and select it. I have more fun racing my custom blue paint races than anything from the official races. Yeah, after 2 years in, it's like, it's become familiar territory. Now you're just looking to the blueprints for some cool experiences. I do like how the seasons now tend to feature a lot more of the blueprint races, and they all tend to be pretty cool as well, right? Not too many stinkers in there, which is pretty cool. Like, whoever's curating and selecting the particular blueprint events to showcase, they're doing a pretty good job of it. They got some cool ones in there. It's gotten better than it has been. I agree with that. I still remember that one week where they had that one weird event, which I guess was supposed to simulate a roller coaster, but it felt like it was like, unless you kind of went through the map in a particular way, you were almost going to not make it to the end. Because like a certain point in the race, your car just like lost power. And they kept losing power until you couldn't just accelerate anymore. So if your car wasn't already in motion by that point, you were kind of boned. And I actually did kind of bone myself like a few times until I actually managed to be fast enough to clear that particular event. Yeah, I do not look on those days fondly. Yeah, the early ones were dire. All the half pipes that didn't line up right. But no, they've gotten better with picking out some good ones. Like, I always enjoy the ones that usually do like major scenery overhauls to make it look like you're in a completely different area. Like the ones that make it look like you're kind of driving along a big city and you're on an elevated highway. Or like they have like completely different road layouts compared to, you know, Mexico itself. Dang it. But they still feel like a natural part of the scenery. It all works out pretty well. But yeah, after 2 years, you know, you're probably gonna have a pretty good selection of maps to choose from to feature. Oh man, why is this one suddenly like more difficult? I'm in 9th. I only got 2 more laps to kind of make my mark here. I gotta somehow shave 2 seconds off of my lap time. I mean, admittedly, since I, you know, have the rolling start this time, maybe I can shave off those 2 seconds, but we'll see. They do give me a rolling start for these events. And it is like a proper rolling start too, so maybe things will work out. Just need Gian Ferrari to get out of my way here. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Total freedom to do whatever I want, yeah. Gotta admit, they did a pretty good job with Event Lab in this game. It does feel like you get like a lot more leeway to create the events you want. And make them fairly unique too, so that's like pretty cool. It's good, but there are things that are still needed. Indeed. But, yeah. Progress that's being made. Ah! Now that's more like it. That's what I like to see. As long as I don't, like, completely botch it in this last lap. I should be okay. I'll be okay. I'm thankful of the community tab to download props. That is nice. Not quite sure what I was expecting there. Of course, that would happen when I kind of, you know, face plant into a car like that. Kind of digging this one though. It's like moving pretty swiftly. I mean, I'm sitting comfortable at first. I really don't need to try to overtake folks. Oh, see, I did it again. Not quite sure why I keep trying to cut that corner too tightly. I really like that touch of the leaves falling. It is a nice detail. It's the little things, right? Gives you that feeling it's a fall season. Whew. That actually wasn't so bad. All right. Got a Tuner Pro accolade. Let's go. Man, now that I'm looking at this front here, kind of looks a little bit much. Like, do we need a little thingy sticking out on the side there? I feel like that's gonna easily break off. I don't know. Autumn is the best season for me. Yeah, I can see that, right? It's a perfect time for fall weather, and it's sort of temperate. It's, you know, coming after summer, so you're getting cooler now. It feels nice like that. And of course, you know, there's always the fall fashions, which tend to be pretty cute. Personally, a fan of spring myself. I like spring. I think it hits like the perfect spot for temperate weather for me, right? It's like the 1 or 2 weeks of the year where you get the absolutely perfect weather, where you can wear a coat if you want, and you can also not wear a coat if you want, and either way, you're not going to be uncomfortable. It's perfect like that, and right when you get the easy breeze in your face and you can just walk anywhere you wish without having to worry about being too hot or too cold. That's where it hits well. And you know, fall is good for that too, right? You get the 1 or 2 weeks in fall where you get that perfect weather where you can wear whatever you want and not feel like you're overdressed or underdressed. Looks like a hill climb car. Man, now I want to read up on that. Like, see how hill climb cars are designed to kind of, you know, help facilitate that. Dust off the summer outfits in preparation. Yeah. Get the sundresses and loose clothes ready. Alright. Okay, so let's see what else we have. 4-round race, 4-round race, 1-round time attack, 1-round time attack, and then over in GT land we have, oh, race, 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 race. Wow. Man, it's like Tuner Series is the one place where they kind of stick all the time attacks. Oh, 1 time attack in the Fernando Alonso track here, and that's it. And, man, these are all races. I mean, yeah, time attacks are not too different from races in the grand scheme of things, but alright, well, we went through a a lot of the tuner series here. Man, I got like, I want to say 75% of it. So made some better progress this time around. And I know this is like a little shorter than usual. I know usually we spend like 4 hours, but I'm feeling a little bushed right now, so I think I will call it here. So yeah. Thanks to everyone who came by and chatted, hung around, and check things out. You and me both have a good night. Yeah, you have a good night too. I appreciate each and every one of you who came around. So I'll be back on Friday. We'll continue Shadow Tactics. Things have come to a head there. Everyone's been captured, so how are they going to break out? I mean, that's feels like a good enough sentence to let you know the stakes and the tension. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what sorts of things will happen from there. For now, let's look for someone to raid. And before that, I will probably look for some music to fill the gap here. Because unlike some people with sleeping, lack of music sometimes feels like dead air. Let's see. 2019 OST. Background music extended. Alright, let's see if I can find a raid target before this extended mix ends. Might be possible, might not be. We'll see. Actually, want to raise the volume on this a little bit. Oh, I see. It's an extended background music because they kind of just leave the game on the title screen for a while. That's one way to do it. I've seen plenty of YouTube video soundtrack videos that are basically them kind of just sitting at a particular screen, whether it be like, the title screen, a particular menu, or just like they go to the jukebox and let that loop for a while. It works. Some people aren't looking for like CD quality tracks. They just want to listen to a particular jam for a little bit, and if you can give it to them, then they will come back to it. Oh, this guy's going through a couple of menus. Okay. Oh, I do see a handful of Grand Blue Fantasy Relink streams. I think that game just came out. It seems like those who have played it are pretty positive on it, so... I already bought Tekken 8, and I'm not sure if I can afford another big game at the moment. Not mind playing... Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Especially since I kind of sunk a bit of time into the browser game. Still quite a few Power World streams. That said, I'm still playing that myself, and it's still pretty rad. You know, my brother also started playing that, and they are enjoying it. Although they also got into like Final Fantasy XIV and Diablo 4, so you know, can't imagine splitting attention across 3 games that demand a lot of it to begin with. That takes effort. All the respect for him for that. Oh yeah, there's the occasional Tekken 8 player as well. Okay, we're 6 minutes into this video, and there's 10 minutes overall, so make sure the time. Okay. I think I have someone picked out, but well, let's see what they're doing real quick. Let's see where they're at. Okay, yeah. Keep on forgetting to stop raids for an hour. I really need to do that first thing. Just finish stream for night. Instantly click stop raids. Okay. Let's see if this goes through. All right, cool. Veraz is playing Final Fantasy VIII. It looks like they wanted to play Phantasy Star Online 2, but that's in maintenance mode, so they're playing Final Fantasy VIII instead. So, hey, you know what? It's late at night. Why not kick back with a bit more chill RPG? You know, gameplay style-wise, not plot-wise. All right. And you know what? I also did not mention, but I finally got my other batch of emotes in, and they are here, and so I'm going to get to use this for the first time. Oh my god, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool, y'all. Boom! Look at that raid emote. If you're joining out a raid, give them a tuner raid. Otherwise, have a good rest of your week. I'll see you on Friday for Shadow Tactics. Take care.